are in Old Damascus. It was really quiet, really peaceful. Wasn't expecting it to be this almost like tranquil. It's the perfect place just for an evening stroll. The people are super nice and friendly. Ran into a bunch of people that speak English too that just stopped and talked to us. But we're on our way to Umayyad Mosque. We're going to walk through a market here in just a second. And the Umayyad Mosque is really important for Muslims because they believe it's the location where, during the end times, that Jesus is going to come back to earth and touch the ground. It's also kind of cool for Christians too, just because of the Bible history that happened at this site. And so we're going to walk through that too in this video, and we'll also see the spot where Muslims believe Jesus is going to come back and touch the earth.
What?
Yep, he wants to be in my video, so he'll be on YouTube. So this gate right here is from the Roman temple to Jupiter that was here, and right above it you can see Christ Tower, so right up here, and that is where Muslims believe that Jesus is going to come back and touch the earth on this tower.
This is a very lively area right here outside of Umayyad Mosque. You'll see just a bunch of little vendors and stalls we've got here along the left side, and on the right side you've got the outside walls of the Umayyad Mosque. And really this bottom part you see is from the temple to Jupiter that was here, and you'll be able to see, and I'll talk about it a little more as we walk around, but you can see the different levels for the different buildings that were here throughout the centuries. This mosque is in a very central spot to where it's easy to walk to several important sites that are important to Christians, including the street called Straight. We've also got Ananias' house, along with the location where it's believed that Paul escaped Damascus when he was running from King Aretas.
So everything you see along the side here is all from the Roman temple to Jupiter. So all of this that you see is all the Roman, what's left of the Roman temple that was here. So below the Roman temple, you have a temple to Hadad. Above the Roman temple, you've got a Byzantine church, and above that, you've got the Umayyad Mosque. And so I'm hoping we can see a piece of that original temple to Hadad once we get inside.
So this is the main entrance to the Umayyad Mosque. I was slightly disappointed in myself because I wanted to show you all the arches that are behind this, where it's believed that Naaman would have walked through when he came to the temple to Hadad that was here. But I took pictures instead of video when I thought I was filming those arches. Here I am taking off my shoes because you need to take off your shoes before you enter mosque. And so inside there's going to be a person that we can leave these with that'll put them inside of a cubby. But here we are walking into the Umayyad Mosque here in Damascus. We're walking right here into the courtyard of the Umayyad Mosque. You'll see it right here in the middle, and you'll see just a glimpse here on the left of the Dome of the Treasury. So the Dome of the Treasury is where they used to house the money here at the mosque, and it is built on top of 8 Roman columns that were reused from the Temple of Jupiter, and they just truncated those columns. And it was built in the year 789 AD. Here's a better view of the courtyard, and this mosque was converted from a church sometime after the Muslim conquest of Damascus in 634 AD.
And this is also more than likely the spot where Naaman came to worship. And also, when King Ahaz made an alliance with Assyria to defeat the Kingdom of Aram-Damascus, he came to Damascus and he saw the temple, and he had an altar built just like the one they had in Damascus at the temple in Jerusalem, which Yahweh did not like. And so more than likely he came to this spot, to the temple of Hadad, and saw the altar that was here.
So the Umayyad Mosque has been altered or repaired a number of times due to war, restorations, and even fire. The most recent one of those was in the late 1800s when a worker inside the prayer hall was smoking a water pipe and accidentally started a fire. And so since then, there's been major renovations that have been done here at the mosque. And the renovation work that was done hasn't made the international community very happy just from the historical perspective. But during the reign of Assad's father, he didn't really care too much about the historical side as much as the symbolic side of this mosque. Here we are walking into the main entrance of the prayer hall to drop off our shoes. We're going to come back to this hall later on in this video to see the burial spot of what is believed to be the burial spot of John the Baptist's head. And as you notice with the lady that we just saw that was in our group, if you're not dressed appropriately, they do have these long blue cloaks that you can wear. Here we are back outside. You can see in the columns here that they've got Roman columns from the Temple of Jupiter that were here mixed in with newer columns. You'll also notice here on the left upper side just the mosaic work that was done here on these arches. So we're walking around the side, and you'll get to see these columns a little more from this side, and you'll get to see more of the mosaic work, which was redone on the entrance here to the dome. And we've got the treasury right here on our right. We're going to keep walking around. They've got a shrine, I guess you could call it, or a burial spot for what's believed to be part of Imam Hussein's body. And there's kind of like a competition between the mosque here and a mosque in Iraq, in Karbala, between who really has the body of Imam Hussein. Didn't take videos inside the shrine there of Imam Hussein, but I do have video inside the prayer hall where it's believed that by a number of people that John the Baptist's head is located.
So here you can see right here the remainder of the Byzantine church. And so initially, once the Muslims came in, they had a mosque right next to the church, but they wanted a bigger mosque. And so after some negotiations with the Christians, they ended up moving the church. And so the Christians had a couple of conditions on moving, and one of them was that the grave of, they thought was the grave of John the Baptist, would stay here. And so here is part of the Byzantine church that was here. And then this is the Christ tower, where Muslims believe that Jesus is going to come back and descend from during the end times. I know we saw it on the outside of the mosque. So we got special access and we get to go inside the courtyard.
So yes, the third minaret and the oldest one called the bright minaret.
It's just really cool to think that Naaman probably stood within this area at one point, along with King Ahaz when he came to Damascus. There's just so much Bible history that happened in this city from the Old Testament that most people don't really dig into much. So we're here inside Umayyad Mosque, and they have what's believed to be the head of John the Baptist. And if we recall from the Bible, John the Baptist was beheaded by Herod because he did not agree with Herod's marriage to his second wife, which, if I remember correctly, it was to his brother's wife. And behind me you can see the columns to the Roman temple Jupiter, but back here, the green light, where you see the green cage, that's where people believe that John the Baptist's head's located. And he was actually beheaded in Jordan at Herod's palace there. And so here is what people believe to be the burial spot of his head. And so, like I was saying earlier, one of the conditions for the Christians to leave this area once the Muslims came in and took over, because they had it split with a church and a mosque, was that the Muslims keep this burial spot of what they believed John the Baptist had, or where it was located, here, and that they not move it. And so they agreed, and that's why it is still here today.
I had convinced our guide after walking through the mosque to take me to the backside to see some of the columns that were still standing from the Temple of Jupiter that was here. Not a ton to see in this area. There's not much information on what was actually standing here, but they just have this back area with the columns that are set up. Overall, really enjoyed the evening stroll through the Umayyad Mosque and getting to see the history from the different time periods here in Damascus. And no trip to Damascus is complete without coming here, so if you're in the area, definitely worth coming and seeing.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Helps me continue making videos just like this one. See y'all later.